I think we're live.
I think so.
I feel like we start every live stream like that.
Yeah.
I think we're live. We don't know. We'll see. We might
All
be
right.
live.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Roll to Move 2025. This is the kickoff.
It is. It's the kickoff. I feel like sports commentators or something like that. We have not seen a game like this in decades. Yeah. How many roll to moves is this? This is the third?
No.
Fourth?
This is more like maybe 5? I think
No.
it's 5.
Is it really?
Yeah. I think.
Because remember, it started as an online Dicefest, and then people said, well, you should do this every year.
Yeah.
And I remember distinctly the conversation where I said, that would kill us. Trying to do an online thing and a live in-person Dicefest at the same time, deadly. So that's when the idea struck to do a second event on the other half of the year, make one of them online and one of them in person. And so that is what Roll to Move is. It's our online event, which is great because it allows people from other parts of the world that couldn't normally come to Dicefest.
All parts of the world.
From all parts of the world who might
That's
not
right.
normally make it to Dicefest or see us at Gen Con or something,
Yeah.
could join us for a virtual convention.
Yeah.
Josh Osborne says half a decade of Roll to Move. Good
Yeah.
Lord. There's it looks like a bunch of the regular crew is here. Look at that. I see Rob Kittler. I see Nathan Jepson. I see Luke Evans. I see Michael Wybrow. Hey everybody.
Yeah. Brian Bosch is on there.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of people have joined us. Thanks for staying up late, getting up early, whatever time it is for you. You know, a lot of people, I saw comments earlier today where they're like, I love the live stream, I don't like the time. And all I could think is, you know, you can't make everybody happy. It's impossible because, especially since this Roll to Move type of event, it caters to a worldwide audience. One person's middle of the night is another person's middle of the day, and it just makes it hard.
It's true. So happy, good morning, good evening.
Middle of the night.
And lunchtime.
Yes, that should cover it. Anyway, so before we, I mean, we obviously, what is this? What is this live stream? This live stream is, it's almost like a tailgate party leading up to the big launch of the sale. And that's always exciting. It's always a good time. We slowly reveal all of the new items
Yeah.
that are going to be debuting in the sale.
But more than that, it's kicking off a weekend, a long weekend.
Yes.
Of games and cool events.
That is true. And that's why I'm saying, what is this live stream? Part of it is the Roll to Move kickoff, where we're going to talk about some of the events and the really cool stuff that we're doing over the next 4 days. And then part of it is reveals of exciting new products that we're debuting. And I got to tell you, this is by far the biggest Roll to Move as far as like new products goes.
Well, don't build it up.
I mean, there's so many. As someone who just like made the slideshow of all this stuff, I was like, whew, like how I can't believe how many things we have.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
We do have a few people sounding off on their times and locations.
Oh, yes.
2 a.m. in Brazil.
Oh, wow.
That's
Peter,
exciting.
Thanks for staying up and being
Yeah.
with us at 2 a.m. in
and it's
Brazil.
A mere 6 a.m. in the UK.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Midnight in Louisiana.
6 a.m. in the UK. Jeez, yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Peter says, he's the one in Brazil, he says, I was fast asleep a few minutes ago. He must have set an alarm for this.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of sleep at the Frog around Dicefest or Roll to Move time. It is definitely not big on sleep for us. Yeah, so everybody is... Count Ehrlich says 10:17 here in Redmond. I think Count Ehrlich is local.
Yeah. It's 5 p.m. in New Zealand,
Yes.
says the old man.
Yeah, it's 5 p.m. somewhere.
It's true.
All right. So let's talk about Roll to Move.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Roll to Move 2025, like more specifically.
Oh, well, that is pretty specific.
I mean, we could talk about Roll to Move 2023, but I'm not sure why we would right now.
Yeah.
Roll to Move 2025, we've got a bunch of exciting events. We've got some crazy...
We got some new events this year.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some new events.
Tell me more.
That we haven't done before.
Tell me more.
We have, I mean, for one, there's preview games that we always have, but this is the first time we're doing a public preview game with the Impossible Hell Train. The Hell Train itself.
Yes, people are going to take their first steps into a larger world.
It's
a
true.
world of Hell Train.
That's true. That's true.
Wow. Yeah, that's exciting. And I'm sure that they will know the definition of true terror as they enter the Hell Train.
Yes, I hope so. We'll find out tomorrow. Tomorrow morning.
Not just Hell Train, right? There's previews in Ferox where people are going to be actually in the Sunken City.
Sunken City of Ferox.
Oh.
There's previews in the Lost Tombs for the Cursed Tombs of Kamentet.
Yes.
And all of the previews also include new material that people have not seen yet. So even if people have played, if players have gotten a chance to check out previous preview games, they're still going to see new stuff that they definitely have never seen before.
I don't know where it stands at the moment. I know earlier today there was some shifting around of some people dropping out of events. We added a few new spots, another preview session, and
Friday evening.
Earlier today, anyway, there were a few openings for games. So if people were trying to get into a preview and you're not currently in one, you want to check it out, maybe grab a look. There might still be an opening right now. This is where the numbers just drop, like everyone leaves. But let's talk about some of the other stuff going on. First of all, we probably should talk about the painting contest. I say this knowing now that there is actually a slide for it, but maybe we could jump to that while we talk about it. The painting contest, I think it's the third slide. It's our standard, 3 categories that we've done in the past. There's best single brimstone hero, best single brimstone enemy, and then the roll to move open category. And to enter, you have to have a badge, a roll to move badge, like you do for most of the events over the next 4 days. But you can enter up to once in each category. We just ask that you need to have painted the miniature yourself. They do need to be actual like Flying Frog miniatures, although you can convert them and add other minis and stuff. The categories are pretty straightforward. The single hero is a single hero miniature. Single enemy is a single enemy miniature. That could be anything from like a dragon all the way down to, a single scourge rat or something like that. So size doesn't really matter. It's just about the different classifications. And then the open category is where it gets really fun, because that's where, it doesn't necessarily have to be brimstone stuff. It could be a diorama of A Touch of Evil figures. It could be, people have done some pretty wacky stuff. They've built, entire scenes, or carved out the inside of a model and put LEDs in there. There's, people do vignettes and dioramas and all sorts of kind of wacky groupings of figures and things like that. So that's actually where it gets really fun. But all of these categories to enter, like I said, you have to have a roll to move badge, and then you can find on the tabletop.events page for roll to move, under attend, there's a little pull down that talks about the painting contest, and it has the link where you can go there and enter, and you can start entering figures today. The entries are available until 7 p.m. on Saturday, and then at that point we're cutting it off.
PST?
Yeah.
Pacific time.
Pacific time, PDT.
PDT, sure.
They have until 7 p.m. PDT this Saturday Then we're cutting it off. We're going to judge it, and then we're going to announce the winners on Sunday. And we do have, like prizes for each of the categories, all the people that place in each category, and it's basically store credit in the Flying Frog web store. So that is very exciting about the painting contest. Besides that, some of the other exciting stuff for Roll to Move that I was going to bring to people's attention. We have painting classes with Aaron Lovejoy. Anybody who's ever been to a Dicefest or, Roll to Move before, you've seen Aaron Lovejoy. He is a force of nature. Aaron Lovejoy, it's hard to have words to fully describe the Aaron Lovejoy experience, but among all things, he is an award-winning, unbelievably off-the-charts painter, and more than that, he's a good teacher. And so, he does this professionally. He is our studio painter who's painted all those minis that you see in the rule books and on the back of boxes and stuff like that. And he's going to be doing classes over the course of Roll to Move. Again, they're ticketed events. It's free once you have a badge, but you do have to have a Roll to Move badge. And we have slots open in all of his painting classes. So that's something that you can get in on. If you haven't already signed up for one or more, you should absolutely do it. There are spots available right now. These are done over Zoom, and it's very interactive. Aaron has classes Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. He's got one on speed painting creatures, and this is using speed paints and techniques to use speed paints and get the most out of them, to have really good looking figures in a very short amount of time. And then he has one on Friday that is also at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and that one is for OSL, Object Source Lighting. And that's where you see those cool figures where, they've got a lantern or a torch or a lightsaber or something that gives off light on the model. And so how to paint that light so it looks very realistic, and it when it's done right, man, it just brings the model to life. It's really cool. So he's going to talk about traditional techniques for doing OSL. And the reason I say that is because he has another class on Saturday that is where he's teaching airbrush techniques. And one of the things he's going to talk about as part of it is how to do OSL using an airbrush. And so obviously it goes much faster, it looks much smoother and all this stuff. But it's important that we have both. You can learn it with and without, because not everybody has an airbrush. Also, airbrushes can be scary. But he's going to demystify that in his class. The Saturday class that he has is actually at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturday. So other things besides all this painting stuff, painting contests, painting classes, we also have some live stream play, and this is pretty cool. Yeah. We actually have Catherine and Ida. They did this last year for the first time, where they did 4 sessions that were long. I don't remember, 3-hour sessions, something like that, of just gameplay where they make new characters and they play through Shadows of Brimstone stuff, and they're polling the audience all right, which way should we go? And it's a very interactive thing. So you sit down with them and play through these games. And so it's pretty entertaining. Plus those guys are charismatic and fun. Yeah. And so it's a good time.
And it's the same characters across all the sessions. So you can kind of see a little bit of progression and different missions and how the characters kind of grow and go up in level. And
that's right. Now they won't be the same characters from last year.
Right.
These are new characters for this year's, but they're going to do 2 sessions of this tomorrow, starting at the first one's at 9 tomorrow, Thursday, starting at 9:30 a.m. PST, and then the second one is at 2 p.m. PST, and then they're going to continue it on Friday, same times, 9:30 a.m. PST Pacific Standard Time, and 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Besides that, let's see. Thursday, tomorrow, we actually have a live stream of the Darkstone magazine, and this is really cool. It's going to be me and Catherine, also who was doing those live stream play. So she's the managing editor. I'm the editor-in-chief. We're going to go through and talk about the magazine, the history of the magazine.
Have you guys gotten a chance to check out the first issue of Darkstone magazine?
Mm-hmm.
It came out last late fall, and it's been out in the wild now for some amount of time. So if people have been able to get their hands on a copy and check it out, let us know in the comments what you guys think, and if you're enjoying the magazine so far.
Somebody is being cheeky, and they say in the comments there that they already saw the banner ad for issue number 2. This one right here.
What?
So we're gonna look at this in a few minutes on this same live stream. But yes, issue number 2, hot off the presses, and it's going to be available in an hour and a half. 1 hour and 32 minutes. All right, but we'll get back to that. So that live stream that we're doing, that's going to be actually at 6 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow night. So all of the things that I'm covering here, the live stream playthroughs, this magazine live stream, the painting classes, the painting contest. One of the reasons why I'm specifically talking about these is these are ones that all have openings. So if anybody is interested, they don't have a badge yet for Roll to Move, you are basically guaranteed a spot in everything that we just talked about. These are ones that aren't quite as limited. There's not just like 4 slots. So while some of the specific game sessions on 3D boards or something, there may not be openings in a lot of those at this point, but everything that I've just been talking about, that's all available. And so there's a lot to see and do over the course of the next 4 days. Other ones that I didn't talk about, Art Showcase, that's a ticketed event. It's free if you have a badge. But that's I'm doing 2 sessions of that, one on Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, one on Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm doing those, and it's basically I give people a guided tour of a bunch of the artwork for upcoming games and products. We're going to debut some new art that nobody's ever seen, and I'm going to talk about sort of the process and how we do it behind the scenes, and answer questions. It's interactive, so it is a little bit like a small guided tour. So we talked about the live stream playthrough that Catherine and Ida are doing, but that is not the only live stream playthrough we have.
That's true.
There's one on Saturday.
We have a live stream playthrough on Saturday with Ethan, and he is going to be running Conquistadors in the Valley of the Serpent Kings, and he's going to be showing off actually a little bit of preview material for the Kobari Headhunter mission pack.
Oh my gosh!
So
yeah.
I think people will probably want to tune in and check out some of that to see the Kobari Headhunters in action.
They're brutal.
They are brutal. They're super
I hope
brutal.
he knows what he's getting into, because he may not make it out of there alive. So that is actually 2 sessions, one at 9 a.m. and one at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Those are Pacific Standard Time this Saturday. And those are the same characters just continuing on. It's just, I think he takes a break to eat or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wants to eat for some reason. All right, is there other stuff that I'm missing here? Because I kind of jumped around. Oh, we're doing something weird. We always do something weird. We're always into pushing it and doing new stuff.
We did something normal.
I don't know. I can't think of it. It's been too long. But we're doing an auction live stream because we're doing an auction for Roll to Move.
Yeah.
So the thing is, years ago when we did our first, actually, I don't think we did it in the first Dicefest. Maybe the
second one.
The second Dicefest. I think it was when we did the second Dicefest. We had this idea where we wanted people to be able to have a piece of Brimstone.
Yeah, a piece of Flying Frog history.
Yeah, for themselves. It's something that we love. Like I've bought different pieces of art from games that I love, and have it framed, in my dwelling, where I can like look at it and love it and enjoy
in your
it.
Scott cave.
Yep. In my Scott cave, and so I thought, I mean, the thing is, I don't know. It would not be my first choice to let any of our art go, because me wants it. It's me precious, right? But because I know that it can bring joy and to others, and like let them have a part of the game themselves.
Yeah, we're not doing a bachelor auction.
Michael Wybrow wants to bid on Jason. Apparently, this is getting creepy. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. No comment on that one. You can't afford them, I think, is the answer.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so this is something we did for Dicefest, and we have done every year for Dicefest. We will have original art from the game that we have that people can buy when they're at Dicefest. All the time, people have asked, are you doing this for Roll to Move, or will you sell pieces of art on the web store or things like that? And we've never done it because it's kind of an in-person thing. I worry about it, like when there's one single copy of a thing ever and you send it out, if it gets lost in the mail or damaged or something like that, it's not like we can send you a new one. It's a precious thing. So I was always worried about trying to send them through the mail or do all that stuff. So we've really shied away from it. But this Roll to Move thing, it means a lot to people, especially people that don't get to come to have the Dicefest experience, and I think it's worth it for us to go out on a limb a little bit and trust that the shipping will get there and things won't get lost or damaged or whatever, and give it a shot, so that other fans that don't get to come to Dicefest can have the same opportunity to get their own piece of Brimstone history. And it's pretty cool because a lot of these are like item paintings. And so, you own that one. If it's like, whatever, the plasma pistol, or like the
Authority of Otar.
The Authority of Otar, there you go. Whatever item it is, it's like, that's an item in the game that people around the world are playing with, but you own the real one. And that's really cool.
Yeah, the original painting.
Yeah. And so each of those paintings comes with the original painting, a certificate of authenticity, and then also the game card itself. And so that you could, frame it nicely and have it with the game card without having to pull it out of your set, because that would be lame.
Yeah.
And then, there's other stuff besides, that's what we've done previously at Dicefest. Because we were going to try to do this for Roll to Move, Jason had the idea to expand on that just a little bit, and maybe have some like serious one-off design pieces where, when Jason makes the design for, say, a map tile, maybe it's like, here is this particular map tile from the mines in City of the Ancients. Mm-hmm. He will draw that out, the full tile, at size, and so he has these pieces, and you look at it and you're like, that's really crazy. That's really cool. That's like the hand sketched map tile that you originally conceived.
And oftentimes that's actually our first playtesting.
Playing on it, right?
We'll actually playtest on a lot of the hand drawn.
Yes. So I mean, like if those papers could talk, like all those early games. Played on there. And so I think we're gonna, I don't know exactly what all ended up in the final thing that we're gonna let release to people, but
people will have to come to the live stream on Saturday to find out.
Yeah. We're doing the auction through eBay. We haven't put anything up yet, but the live stream is gonna go through. We're gonna like show a bunch of these pieces and talk about them, answer questions and whatever, and then you can go, and if you're interested in them, you could bid on them on eBay. And the live stream auction is on Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Let me see. The last one I'll talk about, because I feel like we've spent a lot of time on this, and we'll move on. But the last thing I'm going to talk about is if you're part of the Roll to Move festivities at all, you've got to join us for the big wrap up on Sunday night at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We do the Roll to Move Zoom hangout, and so it's not like this. This is a little more formal. We're wearing frog shirts. We're in front of this step and repeat banner. There's lighting and all of this stuff, and it's one-way conversation. We're talking. I mean, we're getting questions and stuff like that, but it's not like this. This thing we're doing this Sunday is a Zoom hangout, and so it is fully interactive. We see you, you see us. We're talking, and we're hanging out. Yeah,
and you get to hang out with a bunch of people that were playing in games with you over the weekend, and just kind of have a good time doing kind of a wrap up of the long weekend of gaming.
Yeah, people tell their stories of like crazy stuff that happened in their games and their experiences, and it's always cool to hear about what went down and how it went. And we usually will end up dropping a few reveals for maybe what they might be seeing at Gen Con or Dicefest or things like that. It's a good time. And one thing I didn't mention in here was the saloon, the Brimstone Virtual Saloon, which is hosted by Chris Kemnow, and he's our virtual Brimstone bartender, and he'll be in there. So feel free to drop in or drop out along the way. I usually go in there several times over the course of the week.
And Chris is actually also going to be running, for the first time ever, some preview games of the Cursed Tombs of Kamentet throughout the weekend.
But not in the saloon.
Not in the saloon, but I imagine that he'll probably be talking about stories from the different preview session games that he's been running. So
yeah,
it's a good way to talk about some of that new stuff and the different adventures that people have been having in the Cursed Tombs.
Yes. All right. And so just real quick, if you don't know what any of this stuff is, and you just started playing Shadows of Brimstone, and you don't know what a Roll to Move is, or a Dicefest, or whatever, just know this is for you. It's basically like a little celebration of all things Flying Frog. A lot of that is Shadows of Brimstone right now, and we put on a 4-day virtual convention event. And all of the stuff that I've just been talking about, they're all like, online Zoom games, painting classes, virtual hangouts, all these events and adventures over the course of the next 4 days. And to find out, signing up and all the information and the schedule and tickets and all that stuff, you need to go to our tabletop.events page. And so if you go to tabletop.events on your browser and then search for Roll to Move, you'll find it. And a badge is $15, and then all the events are free. Okay, so
I think it's time maybe to reveal some stuff.
I was just going to look to see if people had any questions at this point.
You don't want to reveal stuff.
I mean, people probably don't want to see stuff.
Well, I did see that Steven Hernandez says that he's watching from a luau right now. So that's pretty exciting.
Are you serious?
Enjoy the luau?
Yeah, I heard him say he was in Hawaii right now. I like that he's in tropical paradise, but he's like glued to a phone watching this. But,
I also saw some people sound off arriving from Vienna and from Italy.
Oh, that's cool.
And some other places in Europe as well. That's pretty cool.
I see the diminutive soldier says, I'm brand new, as in I don't even have product yet. Looking to start with Valhalla. Yeah, there's a bunch of different kind of starting points. We have two Old West core sets. We've got a Feudal Japanese core set, and then 2 adventure sets, one with Vikings and one with Spanish explorer conquistador heroes. And so all of those are really great starting points.
But the Gates of Valhalla with Vikings is a fantastic starting point to jump in and try to hold back the darkness in the frozen Norse lands.
The other thing is we actually have a bunch of bundle deals and sales that are going to start in an hour and 18 minutes. And so that is actually a really good time to get in because you could get yourself a bundle and save a bunch of money. Let's see. Multicron says, I'm on the last day of my beach vacation. Everybody is in a better place than we are. What's going on? We should be on a beach. I could be drinking out of a coconut. Andrea Florio says, last year I connected during a trip to Thailand. Wife and kid enjoying the pools and me in the room with a smartphone. So I guess there's some precedent set for this. All right. Well, why don't we start looking at it? Let's begin the slideshow, and we'll look at.
There is one question there that we might want to address. It's, are you able to watch games that are sold out?
Oh, you mean like spectate?
I think that's what they're asking. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not really set up for that. It ends up being that all the more people that are on there.
It makes the connection pretty bad for people trying to play a lot of times. It
can slow it down, but can also be distracting with people, asking questions and stuff like that. So they're pretty much, we have live stream play that you can watch and interact with in large groups. That's what the different, Catherine and Ida and Ethan's things are for. And then the other ones are like game sessions, and we usually cap it off at 4 to 6 players, and depending on what the game is. All right, so let's begin. We have some really exciting stuff. This is I'm pretty jazzed about it. So so Daniel's running the board, and I don't know. Are you on slide number 4?
Are we on slide number 1? We're not on any slide right now.
Oh, okay.
Now we're on the painting contest.
Okay. All right.
Hey, look at that.
There's our live stream. Yeah, look at that.
Man, did you guys get a chance to see the artwork with the Tredaran banner bearer there?
So they've just put up. The timing's off a little bit of what we're seeing. It's delayed. Sure. But he has just put up the first thing, which is actually the Tredaran Carrion trench feeders.
All right.
There they are right there.
Wow, look at that. Carrion trench feeders for Tredera.
Yes. I feel like this needed to happen to go with that Tredaran standard bearer.
It does seem like we needed some tiny critters for him to hate.
Yeah.
And that clearly hate him. I mean, look at how that one on the cover there is tearing up that poor Union soldier.
So Medwind says, fingers crossed for derelict ship. Medwind, I will give you a hint that not for this, but for Gen Con we have some really cool derelict ship stuff. Nathan Jepson says, that's some old school D&D.
So the Carrion trench feeders are the first Tredaran themed enemy pack that is small enemies. So we like to have a lot of size variation amongst the different enemies themed for each world, and one of the places where we didn't have a small enemy yet was Tredera. So these are basically like kind of giant, creepy crawly insect-like creatures that burrow through the rock and dirt and mud of the Tredaran no man's land and feed on the dead and dying and wounded soldiers in the trenches and the bombed out craters around throughout all of Tredera, throughout the battlefields of Tredera.
I don't feel like insect is really right. They're almost like worms.
Well, they're like giant centipedes that are extremely vicious. And one of the things about them is that on all of their little legs, they've got very pointy claws that they can sink into you and tearaway skin, tearaway flesh and gear.
We're also now showing the stats here. And so you can talk a little bit about their burrowing scurry.
Sure. Sure, they always come out in ambush, and they can move through other models, of course, because they burrow around through the dirt and the mud and the rock. They also have some pretty thick shells that can shrug off damage, and corrosive ichor, so that whenever you kill one of them, even though they're small enemies, so you get swarmed by up to 12 at a time, when you kill one, you have to make an agility test to avoid getting splattered with their corrosive gore.
Tell them about the swarm feeding.
And then with the swarm feeding, their damage is based on how many trench feeders are next to you. So the more that they swarm around you, the more they're all kind of tearing little pieces off of you with their mandibles and their little spiny claws or spiny legs that run the length of their body.
These guys turned out really cool. If we go to the next slide, you'll see the whole group, because you actually get a group of 12 of them. And they just swarm you. They swarm feed you. Anyway, let's see what people are saying. Crawling with Dungeons says, like toddlers. That's disturbing. And Lindsay Derrick says, oh, those look terrifying. Yes, tiny creatures with claws that bury in skin. Sounds like my cats. Eric says that. Holy cow, those are adorable. Count Erlock wants a pet, I think. Michael Wybrow asking for Steven, are there different colored carrion trench feeders to attack each faction? Yes, you'll have to get separate seven groups of trench feeders, because they have chameleon-like properties where they blend in with whatever faction they're attacking.
No, they're
I'm kidding.
Equal opportunity trench feeders. They'll eat all factions.
Yes.
They don't mind.
Yes, they feed on the dead and the living.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And Adam Miller points out that number 6 on the elite chart for them, which he saw in the previous slide, is that they have enveloping limbs where they can wrap around you and do damage to you, and if they do enough, you can lose the use of a hand slot for a turn. So it's one of the first things we've had in the game that can actually dynamically change how you load out your gear for your character as they're fighting you.
So I think that we can switch to a camera that shows some of these guys for reals. Let's see. I don't know if it'll be focused. It's focusing more on the table. But
So I believe now all the Carrion trench feeders are single piece. Is that correct?
all the Carrion trench feeders are single piece, and there's 12 models and 4 unique poses. So you actually get a whole grouping of them. And as soon as we printed these out for the first time, we said, they're like popcorn shrimp. I've never gotten over that. So now every time they hit the table, it's like popcorn shrimp. Yeah, you can bet if these things were real, Red Lobster would have them as all you can eat.
Oh,
that's all I'm saying.
the Tredarin branch of Red Lobster.
Yeah, the Tredarin Red Lobster location. Anyway, all right. Well, so that's those. We'll switch back and let's go to the next slide. And something that people have been asking for a while.
Yeah, I think this is a new card supplement, right?
Yes. So this is the Feudal Village Daily Event Pack 1.
Oh, man.
So Jason, you have it right there. Do you want to?
I do.
Do you want to do
here. So,
like our favorite and select one at random and read it? It always goes well. Here, may I?
Luke Evans says Tread Lobster.
Tread Lobster. All right, here we go.
Here, you got one further in. Further in. Here, why don't you look at that one or this one?
River Spirit, Feudal Village Daily Event. Alone in your chambers, just before dawn, you are visited by a haunting water spirit that crawls in through the window and peers into your soul.
Like
It's a good way to wake up in the morning. One random hero must give up their day in town as they are tormented by a local river spirit with a gift and a vision. Make a Spirit 5+ test. If successful, take 1 corruption hit and draw a loot card. If failed, take D6 corruption hits as you are haunted by the spirit's vision. Oh, spirit!
Spirit.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, for some context, the Feudal Village expansion for Forbidden Fortress expands on the town experience for the feudal Japanese setting. And within that expansion, it has a deck of village daily events that you draw from every day that you're in town or in the village between adventures. And it basically is little random events that happen. And so this supplement is a new additional set of cards you can add to that deck so that you get a lot of new random events that happen when you're in town between every single adventure.
And I believe this actually doubles the amount of daily events, right?
Pretty close to it, yeah.
So that's really cool because it adds a lot of variety. So you're getting different new and interesting events in town.
Yeah, so you'll be haunted by visions from river spirits. You might have someone try to collect a debt on you, have some thugs try to corner you in a back alley of the village. There's also, a traveling kitsune or tainted water supply, fireworks. Oni-Nobu slavers can come into town, roll into town.
I hate when that happens.
Trying to abduct people to go work in the Darkstone mines.
Yeah.
Or raising the stakes, where it makes gambling more expensive, more risky, but also bigger payouts for the day. So there's a lot of cool stuff that plays with the different themes within Forbidden Fortress. A lot of the different factions, kind of sub-factions within Forbidden Fortress, like the Jaragumo Spider Queens and the Nobu clan Oni warlords, or like the Shoryu and his dragon army. So there's a lot of cool new and interesting events that can happen during your village stays in Forbidden Fortress.
Excellent.
And that is the first new pack of cards, daily events for Forbidden Fortress that we've done. So we have one of those packs previously for the Old West Frontier Town, and we have one of those packs previously for the Blasted Wastes Barter Town. But this is the first new set of cards like this for the Feudal Village, for Feudal Japan.
Yes. All right, let's go on to the next. Actually, maybe we should look and see if anybody has comments about this or questions. You can use them in Valhalla if you make threat cards for them or buy blanks and print some. And wet the bed. I feel like I missed some earlier context for some of this, especially just and wet the bed. We really need more Forbidden Fortress Growing Dread cards. Maybe so. Maybe so. Add it to the list. All right. New Forbidden Fortress personal items coming up. Add it to the list. The list grows.
Yeah.
Well, also, Al Graham says Hattori Hanzo approves this card pack. It's the stamp of approval. Good. That's good. That's good. We should get little stickers made up and stick on the front.
Peter says,
interesting that you're still supporting Forbidden Fortress.
Fofo.
Yeah, it's one of the 5 core sets.
Did you want us to not do that?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? I don't know.
Luke Evans says faux show.
Indeed.
Surprise me with Elemental Magic expansion pack. Add it to the list. All right. Let's move on. The next one, this is going to be good. We're going to talk about the Roll to Move goodie box.
Yeah, so one of the things we do every year at Roll to Move and at Dicefest is we'll have a special goodie box for the event that has new content for the game and a bunch of new cards and usually a new miniature as well, depending on what the event is. But the goodie box for Dicefest usually focuses on a hero miniature of some sort, and the goodie
Usually
box,
like a veteran here.
yeah, like a veteran hero,
souped
of
up
some sort.
version.
And the goodie box for Roll to Move usually has a miniature that focuses on either an ally or an enemy of some sort. So for this year, we wanted to do, to really kind of drive home that Tredaran theme, and do the Tredaran Banner Bearer as kind of the cornerstone of the Roll to Move 2025 goodie box.
And we were like, should we do an ally or a villain? Ally or villain?
Ally or enemy? What do you do?
Ally or enemy?
So we thought, you know what? Clearly, it needs to be both.
Yep. So we did both. Why fight over it? Do you want to pull out some of the cards? Well, actually, we have a
slides,
slide
right?
show.
Yeah. So yeah, you get the miniature for the Tredaran Banner Bearer, and he's a pretty cool figure. You can see him there on the slide with his billowing banner and his trusty pistol there. His P2 victory pistol.
He has his P2 victory pistol, and he has his enemy record sheet there. We just show the front side, but there's also the red back.
Yeah, it's got
the brutal
standard side and the basic side, and the brutal side. And we also wanted to have an ally version of him that you could use if you have Tredaran heroes that you're playing. So the ally is only available to get with Tredaran heroes, whether it's the strike team or the Tredaran veteran or something like that. But
so far, all Kickstarter exclusives, but a lot of people have those.
Sure. And I mean, we usually have those available through any of the pledge managers we do for various Kickstarter projects. Potentially,
we could give them a little scoop right now and officially proclaim that in the pledge manager for the Cursed Tombs of Commentet and Helltrain, we are going to have the Tredaran strike team.
Yeah,
that you could get.
Yeah.
So if you missed it before, you can get it in the new pledge manager.
Yeah, you can still be part of the newest Kickstarter for the Cursed Tombs of Commentet and Impossible Helltrain.
Late pledge available now on the web store.
Available, that's true. So anyway, we wanted to have the enemy version of the Tredaran Banner Bearer as well as an ally version, and so you have the Tredaran Standard Bearer is what the ally version is called, and so you've got the ally card for him that's got the basic side on one side and the advanced side on the other.
I'll tell you what, just so that we can follow along with the slides.
Oh,
right
sure.
now we're on the slide where it actually has his...
Shows everything in the miniature.
Yeah, his enemy record sheet there. And so did you want to talk about what he does?
I think the next slide is the enemy record sheet, right?
See,
oh,
it's
there
right
it is
there.
Right here.
Yeah.
So the Tredaran Banner Bearer is pretty cool. He basically is there to, take some shots with his P2 victory pistol, but he also is there to boost all of the other enemies around him, basically raising the morale of the troops and leading the charge through no man's land and across the trenches to attack the heroes. And so he basically has the ability to rally the troops, and he also has flying the colors, which basically means that he has a banner based on whatever nation he is from, and so there's a card for each of those banners, and so
There's a deck.
there's a deck of Tredaran banner cards, and so there's a specific banner for each of the factions, each of the 7 factions.
And that's the original
six
six.
original plus the Tredaran monarchy.
Of course.
And so each of those banners basically has a global buff to all of the other enemies around him. So, for instance, if he is, a Tredaran banner bearer from the Union, he has the Stripes and Strike, which basically give all enemies +3 health, and it affects enemy models on the same and adjacent map tile to the banner bearer. So as long as they're close to him and as long as he's alive, everybody gets a little boost of health. But if they stray too far away, of course, they'll lose that bonus, and so they'll be easier to pick off. You also have something like the banner for the Royal Foundry is the Hammer and Gear, which says affected enemy to hit rolls of 6+, ignore defense and armor. So basically just globally gives the enemies around him the ability to have their 6+s be criticals that ignore defense and armor, because they're inspired by the flag and the valor of the Tredaran banner bearer.
So Luke Evans just proclaimed quite strongly, "Long live the Union." And Brian Bosch is asking if there's a 6-pack banner bearer minis only. And he says he's thirsty.
It does seem like that would be something that people would want, doesn't it?
The short answer is yes. And the long answer is it'll be in a slide later down the road.
All right.
What are you going to drag it out? Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
We recognize
Sure.
that some people would want. Obviously, you want to get like the banner to paint up for each of the factions if you have the different factions.
Yeah.
You know, it makes sense. It only makes sense.
Well, so the other cards that are part of this guy are the reference card that talks about using him as an ally. It also talks about having him show up not only through the threat cards that come with him, but also potentially as an additional enemy whenever any keyword Tredaran and keyword soldier or keyword mutant group shows up. So if they're Tredaran soldiers or Tredaran mutants, they might also have a banner bearer with them. Mm-hmm. So there's a possibility of them showing up beyond just when their normal threat cards come up.
I wonder how long it'll take before people are like, I don't remember the time before the banner. You know what I mean? Where it's such a staple of Tredarans.
I mean, the banner bearer definitely is a brutal dude. So there may not be anybody left standing to wonder what it was like.
All right.
Before the banner bearer.
Adam Miller says, "Wait a minute. It would give the benefits even to the Carrion." I don't think the Carrion are actually keyword Tredaran, right?
Well, the banner is
Actually, they are keyword Tredaran.
Yeah, but it's actually all other enemies on his map tile get the bonus of the banner. So regardless
yes.
of what they are, basically, the idea is that the banner is whipping all of the enemies up into a frenzy.
Yeah.
So if you think about it from the standpoint of all the Tredarans that are there fighting are really excited, and so the Carrion trench feeders are that much more enthused to help tear everyone apart.
More bodies to
feed.
eat. Yeah,
That's
this is
right.
going to be great.
More food, more blood in the water.
All right, but get to the good stuff. Let's talk about the allies, because the banner bearer not only has his ally card with the basic and advanced side, right?
Yeah.
But he has his own mutation chart.
His own
and his own upgrade chart.
As with all allies, he's got his own upgrade chart and his own mutation chart.
We brought up the slide with just the basic and advanced version of the
and one thing you'll probably notice on the advanced version of the standard bearer there is that he has the flying the colors ability, which is that all other heroes on the same map tile gain the following benefit based on the nation of the hero that took the ally. Mm-hmm. So if you are a Tredaran hero that is from the Shintaro Corps, then he has a listed ability for each of the different nations. The Shintaro Corps one says, once per turn, reroll any number of your armor rolls just rolled. So that's pretty powerful, giving you like a double boost on your armor. And of course, if you are a Shintaro Corps hero, you're gonna have your ceremonial armor built in. So, there's a lot of those that can make things pretty deadly if you have a standard bearer ally.
I love the idea of the Tredaran veteran where he quit and took off and just went to another planet.
Yeah.
But he's got like he's hired a banner bearer, and this guy's just like rah rah, strike and stripe, and it's like, oh god, it's too early. It's too early in the morning for this fill.
I assume that the standard bearer ally would also have some coconuts that he could be clomping along behind you.
It sounds great. But read the mutations.
Yes.
There's some of these that I love so much.
So
tell them about some mutations.
Why don't you go ahead and read them?
You can have a living banner. The blood of the bearer now flows through the fleshy banner itself. If the standard bearer is killed, every hero on his map tile is spattered with gore, taking d6 horror hits. That is fantastic.
That's the danger of being a standard bearer on Tredera, where so much Darkstone and void energy is let loose.
You can have a shambling standard. The standard bearer is now keyword undead and may heal 1 wound at the start of his activation.
Who doesn't want an undead Tredaran banner bearer following you around?
Especially when it's your ally.
Yeah.
You're just like, that guy's creeping me out. It's like, as long as he's holding the flag, it still counts. Yeah, there's some really good stuff. But also with the standard bearer upgrades. I mean, do you have any particular ones that you want to talk about? I mean, there's some really cool stuff. It's just I was so excited to talk about the fleshy banner. So now I don't want to take all your thunder.
Well, there's also like one of the upgrades he has is must not touch the ground, which says the standard bearer now has a revive token only usable by him, because he'll basically go to extra great lengths to prevent the banner of the Union from falling to touch the ground. Or there's also, say, Inspiring Valor, where he gets +1 shot with his pistol, and if he's killed, every hero within line of sight of the standard bearer may recover a grit and heal D6 health and sanity any mix.
Yeah.
So basically, he inspires everyone to greater deeds, especially if he makes the sacrifice going up and over the trench.
I like also he has a battle cry that he can get. That also seems like it could be annoying. Your ally as you're going, and he's like, or whatever crazy battle cry.
I'd also say that these are not mutually exclusive, so you can easily have a
living banner and a battle cry.
Yeah, heavily mutated but upgraded banner bearer. So you could have the shambling standard with your undead Tredaran banner bearer that also won't let the flag touch the ground.
Yeah.
Or has his battle cry.
I was just having a flashback
to
the Rebel Yell or whatever that they had. There's actual footage I saw one night late night on YouTube of they have actual footage of like, I mean it's black and white, really old footage, but it's like guys actually doing the like Rebel Yell Civil War battle cry. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You might want to look it up. If you haven't seen this, it's crazy stuff.
Super old dudes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All right.
So there are some other cards that come in the goodie box, which, I mean, maybe we should leave some surprises. People probably, they saw some of the stuff fanned out there, but one that might be worth mentioning is that there's some Egyptian-themed stuff with Ramatut's dagger, which
little
is
preview of things to come.
An Egyptian dagger of meteoric iron, and Curse of the Desert, which is a darkness card that actually is themed for Egypt as well, and has the Egypt set icon, or the Egypt icon up in the corner for denoting it as being themed for the Cursed Tombs of Kamentet set. So, but anyway, there's several more cards that come in there as well, which will leave some surprises for when people get their goodie boxes.
All right, excellent. So I think there's at least one more image there for the goodie box, and this is
it's the Union.
Aaron Lovejoy's painted Union standard bearer, and I tried to fit him in there to show both the front and the back because it's a very cool paint job. And you can see on his base, I don't think we've ever showed the back detail before, but on his base there's actually a mine, and one of the Z4 Grenadier mines. And this guy's just stepping like 6 inches away from it. A little dangerous.
Yeah, you don't want to be standing over there. It's also really doing like a deep lunge.
It's a deep lunge.
With the mine directly under him.
He does a lot of...
Not a good idea.
He does a lot of deep lunge exercises.
Deep lunges.
Yeah. That's good. That's good stuff.
Hashtag flesh banner.
Yes. All right, but you know what? One of the great things, we do these exclusive goodie boxes. And so you can only get the Roll to Move goodie box just during Roll to Move, and that's it. It's not a normal thing that we sell all year round or anything like that. But we do have some copies of previous year's Roll to Move boxes, and so they are exclusive to Roll to Move weekend. So besides having this new Roll to Move 2025 goodie box, we actually are also going to be selling in limited quantities the previous year's Roll to Move goodie boxes. So if we flip, this is last year's, and last year actually had the Junkbot ally, and this is a brand new paint job from Aaron Lovejoy. We we didn't have time to have him paint it last year. So this is a brand new painting. He just painted this guy this month. And so we're showing that for the first time, even though it's to show that we're selling the goodie box from last year. And up in the upper left corner, it goes through all the different things that are included in last year's goodie box.
Yeah, and the junk bot was a really fun ally. If anybody has any fun junk bot anecdotes they want to throw in the comments there, I'm sure people would enjoy hearing about junk bot antics.
Count Ehrlich says, wait, you have to paint the back? He's just been painting the fronts of miniatures. That's actually kind of amazing. I've been playing more like tabletop games most of my life. I've never heard of that. That's kind of amazing. That's kind of amazing. All right, so if we go to the next slide, you'll see the 2023 goodie box, and that was the one with the character who bears a striking resemblance to a god of thunder and lightning.
Yeah, it's the Stormlord, which is
the Stormlord, yeah.
The kind of mini-boss version of the Thunder Warriors.
I was just going to say, a little bit of inspiration from Big Trouble in Little China, possibly. I think. I see it.
Oh, you never know.
You never know. And then, of course, it lists all the things that come with the 2023 goodie box. So we're going to have that available in the store only during the Roll to Move sale. And that sale goes live in 47 minutes.
Oh, man.
All right, and then I think we have the 2022 one as well, right? Look at that. And that was really cool, too, where we had the ally. He had alternate arms, right? I think that picture is just showing one arm. But
the Wasteland Warrior and the Wasteland Guard.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really cool one, actually, as well. And you can see all the stuff that came with that goodie box in the listing there.
Yeah, so that was another kind of variation on existing allies, where you could turn the Ronin bodyguard into an alien wasteland bodyguard instead, and that was definitely a fun one. It's always cool to have a big alien bodyguard following your hero around as you go on your crazy adventures.
All right, well, let's. Why don't we go to the next slide? This is Nudlow. So we actually just released him in the spring sale a few months ago, and this is a brand new mini that we had painted by Chris White. And the reason I'm showing him is because this was the first of the legendary specters that we sold. And, of course, we have a new one. So we'll flip to show the new one.
A new legendary specter.
That's right. The ghost pirate, Valentina Della Rosa.
Oh, man.
Do you want to tell them about the Valentina Della Rosa?
Sure. I mean, she's one of the legendary specters, originally from Forest of the Dead. The legendary specters are basically like mini-boss versions of the wraiths that come in the Forest of the Dead set, the wraith enemies. And she particularly is a pirate captain from the 16th century who was overzealous in her seeking of gold and treasure, and was ambushed by the Royal Navy and blown to bits. And now she is found roaming the cold plains and forests of the dead, and basically still searching for her treasure, the treasure that she never got in life.
Boyko Boychev says the ancestor of the A Touch of Evil character.
It is Maria Della Rosa from the coast for A Touch of Evil. Yep, it is an ancestor. So we always like to have little connection points like that to have different things connect within the world of Flying Frog, between the different games and between the different time periods and genres even that we work on.
Ethan Lowe is here. And he says, "Pirates, take my money." Ethan, I don't know if you just joined us. We were telling people about your very cool live stream that's coming up on Saturday. So everybody's excited to see what you have in store. Daniel is here. He said you need to contact him. I think he wants to talk specifics about how you're doing the live stream and making sure that it all hooks up right. All right, and it looks like Lindsay Derrick says, "I was really hoping we would get more legendary specters. They look amazing." That is awesome. I am glad you think so. I think so as well. It's also really cool because the legendary specters offer this opportunity to work in some different genres that we haven't seen in Brimstone before. I mean, when we did Constable Ludlow, you've got the, Victorian London police Bobby, and now we've got a pirate captain. And it looks like we've gone to the next slide to reveal we are actually also releasing Enemy Supplement Legendary Specters #1.
So this is a supplement similar to the Blasted Wastes Wasteland War Masters that we did, where it's basically a new set of enemy record sheets and threat cards that specifically have all of these stats for these specific legendary specters worked into the Shadow Wraith stat line. So instead of having the Wraith enemy and then the card that modifies them to make them into the mini boss that are these different character legendary specters, all of the stats and abilities are just worked into one card. And that also lets us give them a unique elite ability chart. And on the brutal side, it lets us basically do a different evolution that's specific, an evolution of that Wraith enemy, but that is specific to Constable Ludlow or Valentina de la Rosa. Instead of just being how the Wraith would evolve, right? So it means it has new abilities and stats and bonuses that play into the strengths of the theme and abilities of those unique legendary Spectre characters. And then it also has, it's got the large enemy record sheet for each of those characters, and then it also has new threat cards for them to show up more frequently in your adventures potentially, and to show up kind of as a mini boss with additional enemies alongside them and different groupings of enemies. So I think people are really going to like the Legendary Specters Supplement Pack 1 because it brings a lot more kind of theme and flavor and gets those legendary specters out there haunting more than just the Forest of the Dead.
Absolutely. I'm realizing also this is our last slide for this, so I didn't create any slides that show the character cards or the threats or anything like that. So if you want to just, I don't know, talk about any of that or show it on camera, you could. I don't know if there's anything that is worth specifically picking out.
So some of the things that are kind of cool are like with the threat cards that come with the Legendary Spectre.
Turn it around and show it on camera.
Yeah, I don't think people are going to be able to see because it's really tiny. But sure, you can drop.
Yeah, I mean we could.
So one of the things that's kind of fun is whenever we do these different threat cards, this particular one is an Otherworld Forest of the Dead threat card, but there's also a normal, medium threat, high threat, and epic threat for them. And so, there you go. So whenever we have these cards, it basically allows us to have them come into play with backup of some other enemies of some sort, usually that are themed along with them, but also to have some sort of new abilities that kind of modify it and make it more themed for this mini boss with their entourage. Mm-hmm. So for instance, this particular Forest of the Dead card is Victorian Watchman. So it's got a couple of extra abilities there. Ghostly Watchman says the spectral hordes that are on this card are +1 combat against outlaw heroes and heroes that have already activated this turn, or +2 if both. And then these cards generally always have withdraw as well, which means that because he's a mini-boss version of the Legendary Spectre, if you do enough damage to him, he'll actually retreat. So you don't need to have like a full epic showdown with him to get kind of a taste of fighting these characters that are fairly powerful kind of bosses. you get to fight them kind of as a mini boss where you can do enough damage to drive them away. But the regular threats for the medium and the high threat and the epic threat also have that ghostly watchman ability. So they can come out. He comes out with spectral hordes that represent not just Constable Ludlow, but all of the other kind of ghosts of the watchman that are kind of his crew. And so something similar happens with Valentina de la Rosa. She has ghostly swashbucklers, and so she gives those spectral hordes that come with her. They're basically like ghosts of her pirate crew, and so she gives them the spectral pirates ability that modifies the ghostly hordes, or the spectral hordes, excuse me, so that they get some extra bonuses. All right. And the Constable Ludlow specifically also has a special Wraith Relic, the Death's Lantern, and a special encounter card that he automatically puts into play called a Cold London Fog. And so each of these cards has Constable Ludlow on the back, so you know that's the card, that's the character that this card goes with. But then it's got the abilities and stats for the Wraith Relic and the themed Cold London Fog encounter that he puts into play. All right.
I have the ghostly swashbucklers.
Yeah.
Did you want to say anything about ghostly swashbucklers?
I talked about him a little bit. Yeah.
All right. And then besides these are otherworld threats. But besides that, there's the normal threat deck.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Okay.
The medium threat, high threat, epic threat. Generally, there's not usually a low threat for the mini bosses because they would kind of steamroll one or two heroes pretty handily potentially. So usually it's just medium threat, high threat. But I mean, if you're playing with just one or two heroes and you want to see those guys, you can easily use medium threats as you go up in level, or especially if you're using the heroic efforts cards, which are one of the supplements that we have to give smaller hero parties or solo heroes a little bit of a leg up to have some extra cool abilities and also have a better chance of survival, going it alone or in a small party of heroes of one or two.
So let's look at a few questions here. If you could scroll up just slightly. So it says, Lone Wolf 808 says, are we going to be able to get the Forbidden Fortress Legendary Villains soon? So that is one of the last remaining sets from the Kickstarter that was not released yet, and we are working on it. That was something that we actually had on the release schedule for this year, but that schedule was thrown into chaos with tariff land and all the kind of craziness. So I'm not sure when exactly it'll be, but it'll be sooner than later. And for anybody who doesn't know, the legendary villains are like named character enemies, mini bosses for Forbidden Fortress, and they are all very cool. It's a set of 4 different ones.
Yeah, the Undead Daimyo and the
Nobu Taskmaster,
the Tengu Blind Master,
and the Red Ronin.
The Tengu Blind Master is a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's got those wings.
Yeah, and he's got special game mechanics where he has kind of a blind attack against you where you don't get to see the dice.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool, and it definitely shakes it up. Some interesting mechanics that are for all those guys really that aren't seen anywhere else.
So the short answer is yes, they will be coming soon. Right now, there's still a little bit of uncertainty of economics, tariffs, and all of that. But we'll try to get it back in the production line as soon as we can. Let's see, other things. Andrea Florio says, was Valentina de la Rosa Italian? Or the name sounds Italian, but she was not.
She's a Spanish pirate.
Let's see, to use the legendary specters, will we have to have Forest of the Dead to have access to the spectral horde figures and cards?
On the rule sheet, there's the basic version of the spectral hordes. So it doesn't have the elite chart, but it has the stats for them. Obviously, you don't have the miniatures, but you could use stand-in minis
Proxies or something
until you get Forest of the Dead.
Yeah. But I mean, Forest of the Dead is an awesome set. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's a really cool otherworld. Whether you play with Forbidden Fortress or just use, Old West stuff or Vikings or Conquistadors, it's just a cool other world to.
I mean, it has really. I think some of my favorite scenarios, some of my favorite missions actually are from Forest of the Dead. Like, there's a connected mission where you're hunting for 4 different pieces of an amulet, and so you play it across 4 different missions to get each corner of the amulet, and then once you combine it, it gives you some special bonuses. But the idea of going on this quest, it's very like classic 1980s G.I. Joe cartoon or something.
Yeah,
where
we're
like,
after the 4 parts of the broken amulet.
Parts of the broken amulet, and each one has a different kind of modifiers to the adventure you go on to get that piece back. And then another one that's really fun is one where if a hero has been killed, like actually rolled a double ones on the injury chart or something like that, is actually killed, you can go on a quest to try to find the legendary specter of your fallen hero buddy, and if you can defeat them in combat, you can actually try to bring them back from the abyss and resurrect them as a hero again. So it's definitely a lot of really cool story-driven missions and story moments for your characters.
The one with the 4 parts of the amulet, we actually did that at Dicefest for a couple of years, where we 3D printed like the full amulet, like as a full size, tangible thing, where you're trying to construct it, and then we played it over the course of the weekend, and different people would come and go for the different parts, and then there was a big final showdown, and we'd have like one representative from each of the different games leading up to it, like each of them bring their piece for the final showdown. It was really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you know what, we have talked about some really cool stuff, but I'm not sure if just one new enemy set is enough. What if we had another new enemy set to sell as well? What would you think about that? I mean, I know it's lunacy.
It sounds like madness, but sure. I think it's probably a worthwhile form of madness.
All right, let's look at the next slide. We're gonna do it. There it is, the Oathbreaker axemen. Now, if you remember, way back when, in the old Gates of Valhalla, there was an item. There was an artifact that was an Oathbreaker axe.
It's true. There's a little hint at things to come.
That's right. This is where that axe came from. Oathbreaker axemen.
So the Oathbreaker axemen are basically a new form of undead Viking warriors that specifically are more heavily armored with big rusted chainmail and furs and big 2-handed Oathbreaker axes. And one of the things that is really cool and special about these guys is that they actually come with a deck of broken oaths. So whenever you come across a band of Oathbreaker axemen, you get to draw to see what their broken oath is and how that tells the story of them as a group of undead Vikings, but also how that plays into how they act now. So the different modifiers it gives to them because they were cowardly and left their friends to die on the battlefield as they ran for the hills, or because they were backstabbers that took a payout from the enemies to turn on their previous allies and cut them down where they stood. And how does that affect them now that they have been cursed by their broken oath to roam the Norse lands for all time?
So Adam Miller says it's just what we've axed for.
Excellent.
Boyko Boychev says, oh no, they're going to swear an oath to you and then break it.
They're all in the course of one fight. Don't trust them.
Blarkytopia says they want to ask you a question. I can tell it must be very late in some of these time zones.
Or very early.
Maybe very early, yes. is one of the oaths I will not buy sob content I already own.
You must break it.
You must swear it. And then break
Don't you want to be an Oathbreaker?
Tyler Skite says, I swear if they announce an XXL Nidhogg boss in production, I'm going to lose it.
Oh, man.
Medwin says, these look awesome, rivaling the look of the Coffin Breakers in awesomeness. Yeah, we usually have a big chart of awesomeness, and we're like, no, it must be more awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, these guys are tough. They're no slouches. You can see just even in their basic stat line, they hit on a 3+ with 2 combat and do D8 damage if a hit goes through. Mm-hmm. So I mean, they get some really hard double-handed axe swings with their cursed axes.
And they have rusted mail and tattered furs.
Yeah, it's true. And they're
it's true.
It's true.
That's true.
It's all true. Their cursed axes are really good, though. I mean, it's kind of cool because they get a bonus based on if you succeeded or failed in the Hold Back the Darkness roll in any given turn. So when you fail to hold back the darkness, the Oathbreaker axemen get stronger. They get more attacks, more combat.
And let's see, if we go to the next slide, we'll see the whole group. So these guys are pretty awesome. There's 6 of them that you get, and they we got a bunch of different poses. Both these guys and the Carrion trench feeders are cast in-house in the USA. And they are thermoplastic minis, and so there's some really fine detail on these guys, and they turned out really good.
So these Oathbreaker axemen have the normal threat cards for low, medium, and high, but they actually also have an epic threat card for a particular legendary band of Oathbreaker axemen, which are called Hell's Reavers. Mm-hmm. And so they actually have a special bonus on their epic threat card if you run into an epic threat of the Oathbreaker axemen. But some of the Broken Oath cards, I mean, all of them are a lot of fun, but each has a little story about them. So, for instance, one of the Broken Oath cards is Left Others to Die. Surrounded by wounded comrades on the battlefield, these treacherous fighters forsook their oath of brotherhood, retreating to safety while their fallen kin were devoured alive by the beasts that besieged them. So that gives them +2 initiative, because they're good at escaping. Mm-hmm. And adjacent heroes cannot heal wounds or sanity. Mm. So if they close in, they want you to die like their fallen brethren by preventing you from healing or healing each other. So they could also be thieves or cowards. They could have their vengeance abandoned. Once sworn to an oath of revenge, these traitorous mercenaries abandoned their honor when they left the quest for vengeance behind, bribed by their mark with a trove of riches to let them escape. Mm. And with those, they get +3 combat, and a hero may cancel any number of wounds from this enemy's hits by spending 10 gold per wound canceled.
That is costly.
So you can basically pay them off to not hurt you.
Yeah.
But they get a bunch of extra combat. And if you recall, they do that D8 damage for each hit that goes through your defense. So they can be pretty rude. But if you're some Spanish explorers, you probably have a lot of extra gold to throw around, pay off those Oathbreaker axemen while you're hacking and slashing at them. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so yeah, the Broken Oaths are definitely a lot of fun.
But you know what? That's not all.
What?
That's right. There's more. We want Adam Miller to be happy. I don't know if it's possible to have him get enough, but we're gonna try. So if we go to the next slide, you will see.
By the way, Peter says Oathbreaker X-Men.
I saw that. All right, there it is. Shadows of Brimstone Swarm Pack number 4, Stranglers and Night Terrors. And this actually comes with a new spawner, which is the Tear in Reality.
Oh man, a Swarm Pack 4 that covers both Stranglers and Night Terrors.
Yes.
And do you know what they have in common? It's that they're both terrifying demons from the void. And so they pour into our reality, as seen in several of the illustrations within Shadows of Brimstone. They pour into our reality by coming through tears in reality that have ripped open in the fabric of space and time. And so that is the spawner as they come through into our world from the void. And so you need to go and try and attack the tear in reality to try to seal it up, try to find ways to close it. And so you get actually bonuses for attacking it if you're using weapons that have Darkstone icons.
So if we go to the next slide, you can see actually all the stuff that comes with it. There's painted up versions of the Tear in Reality and the 6 Stranglers. These are painted up as, which ones? They're the ones in the Wasteland.
The Stranglers are the Desert Stranglers.
Desert Stranglers. Yeah. And then I think those are the Bog Terrors. Which
Bog
are the,
Terrors. Wait, I've never heard of a Bog Terror before.
Well, I think that you clearly don't own the Enemy Swarm Pack number 4 yet.
So one of the things that's really cool and really fun with doing these Swarm Packs is it allows us to have ways of getting more of these really classic enemies onto the table at once. So instead of only fighting, 2 or 3 Night Terrors, you might run into 5 or 6 Night Terrors, which is a terrifying prospect.
It's terrifying.
This set specifically, because it has the Tear in Reality that these guys are pouring through, and because they are themed as void demons, they basically, the spawner can spawn both Night Terrors and Stranglers. So it gives you these combined fights when you come across this Tear in Reality spawner. And so another thing that's fun with doing these sets is that it lets us go back and do a little bit of a deeper dive into the different Otherworld variations for these enemies, the Otherworld variants. And so it has large enemy record sheets with the modifier stats worked into the cards for all the different Otherworld variants for these particular enemy types. This specifically has the large enemy record sheet for space terrors.
Why don't we go on to the next slide, and
sure.
it'll actually show. The next slide is the Night Terror ones.
Okay.
And so there we've got the space terrors and the snow terrors and the bog terrors.
Yeah, and so not only do we do the new enemy record sheet that has the stats just worked in, it also, much like the legendary specters, lets us do an elite chart that's unique to those Otherworld variant enemies. Plus the brutal side can be a specific evolution of the Otherworld variant rather than just an evolution of the Night Terror that has the basic modifiers for the Otherworld variant still attached. And so when we do one of these sets, oftentimes we like to take a look at adding another Otherworld variation of these enemies so they can show up in more places with different abilities and different bonuses themed for that world. So in this set we have the original Space Terrors from the Derelict Ship, the Snow Terrors from the Targa Plateau, and the new variant is the Bog Terrors from the Swamps of Jargono. And you can see they actually have moss and plants and dripping from their wet, matted bog fur.
And the fact that they have regeneration is hardcore.
Yeah. Anytime you get a large size enemy with a lot of health that can regenerate, it always makes it a little scarier.
So if we look at the next slide, we'll see the ones for the Stranglers. And that is also very, very crazy because there's a new variant there.
Yeah, so with the Stranglers, we have the original Otherworld variants that are the Desert Stranglers for the Blasted Wastes and the Dark Stranglers for the Derelict Ship. But we also added a new type of Strangler, which is Sea Stranglers. They're basically from the dark deep of the sunken city of Ferox. And so this is a new type of Strangler that is themed for the deep sea. And so they've got bonuses and abilities based on that. They're aquatic hunters that get extra combat when they're on flooded map tiles or deep water spaces like the spaces around your expedition ship in Perilous Expeditions and things like that.
And all these guys have their own, a little more personality.
Swarm packs come with a new mission that you're specifically can go on to try to hunt down these tears in reality and try to seal them up. But it also has a lot of new threat cards that have different combined groupings of enemies between the night.
Apparently the audio went out and now it's back.
Yeah, so we might have missed some stuff there, but we'll try to just catch up as we go. So it has threat cards for different combinations of Stranglers and Night Terrors and the Terra in Reality spawner, but it also has just basic threat cards that allow you to have up to twice as many Stranglers in a fight as you used to be able to, even for basic Stranglers, or up to twice as many Night Terrors in a fight as you used to be able to have, even for basic Night Terrors. And then there's also some new other world threats that are in there with the spawner as part of it. There's a new darkness card, and there's a new encounter called a tear in space and time for every other world in the game, for every Earth-based world and every alien other world in the game. And it's basically a new encounter that can potentially spawn a tear in reality as it tears open if you fail the skill tests required by the encounter.
And that includes a tear in reality. I'm sorry, a tear in space and time encounter card for Sunken City, right?
Yes, it has. It has Sunken City. It also has a Lost Tombs world card for the or encounter card for that world from the Cursed Tombs of Commentet. So it is literally every other world in the game right now, I believe. So that's pretty exciting.
Well, let's look at the next slide, which is actually shows off the Terra in Reality and its stats.
Yeah.
And you've already talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit. One of the things that's kind of cool with the Terra in Reality is that the way it spawns is at the end of each turn you roll a d8, and on a 1, 2, 3, or 4, that many Stranglers come pouring out of the Terra in Reality, and on a 5 or 6, nothing happens, nothing gets spawned that turn. But on a 7 or 8, a Night Terror comes out, and so it basically gives you this opportunity where you don't know what's going to happen each turn. Is it going to be a little scrambling group of Stranglers that come out to try to overwhelm you, or is a giant Night Terror going to pull his way through, stretch open that Terra in Reality, and come into whatever world you're in to haunt your dreams?
Haunt your dreams.
And then the Terra in Reality also has Darkstone radiation, so if you get too close, you'll start taking corruption hits from it. And because it's a rip in the fabric of space, it means it has armor 4+ against all attacks, except those that are keyword magic or include a Darkstone icon. So basically, it means that you kind of have to have some form of magic weapon or magic attack to be able to bypass its armor. Otherwise, you just have to go up against armor 4+, which is potentially pretty dangerous to try to take it out before you get overwhelmed by the enemies that it's spawning.
I was just going to show how big the Terra in Reality is.
Yeah,
it's a Constable Ludlow beside it so that people can see.
Yeah, one thing that's pretty cool about this spawner is that instead, most of the spawners we've done in the past have been kind of wide, a big base. But with this one, we wanted to make it a really tall, tear in the fabric of space and time that is big enough for Night Terrors to come, to pull themselves through.
Yeah, we
as
actually
well as hordes of Stranglers.
Designed it, sculpted it, 3D printed it, and then Jason saw the 3D print and he's like, "That's not big enough for a Night Terror to get through," and so we had to make it bigger to make it Night Terror sized.
Night Terror size is important.
Yeah. So it's pretty big, and the model turned out great. It's very cool. I think people are going to have a lot of fun painting that one. All right. All right. Well, let's. We still have, believe it or not, we still have a few more surprises. If we look at the next slide, you will see the new Wasteland War Master, Hyrogen the Bone King.
Oh, man. Hyrogen the Bone King.
So Hyrogen the Bone King is actually the last of the ones that of the Wasteland War Masters that were released in the Blasted Wastes.
Yeah. So again, this is basically one of the named legendary Wasteland War Masters from the Blasted Wastes. So in the Blasted Wastes, he was a card that modified one of the
Chieftains.
Well, yeah.
To use the Chieftain model as a Wasteland War Master.
Yeah, but basically, the Blasted Wastes has the cards for his stats and abilities and whatnot. But the Bone King, Hyrogen the Bone King, basically is a very tall and brutal War Master that captures people out in the wastes and forces them to fight in his kind of arenas of combat in his rust forts. And then whoever loses in those arena battles, they cannibalize and devour, and then he wears their bones as armor. That's why he's the Bone King.
Yes, and he leads the Flesh Eaters.
Yep.
And they eat the flesh. They eat the flesh. And
wear the bones.
This model turned out so good. I'm very happy with it. I'm excited about it. It's one of my favorites. The Wasteland War Masters, it's been a long run.
It has.
It's been a few years to release all the Wasteland War Masters.
Yeah,
we started with Tario Gant, and then who was next?
Celeris Dracoth?
Oh, Celeris Dracoth, right,
Yeah.
right. And then Reject of Marn, and Kokantar the Red Destroyer.
Yeah, who's a Trun.
A Trun, and now Hyrogen the Bone King. And that finishes out all 5 that were in there. I keep pointing out that it was that were in there because much like with the Scafford gang, we ended up, having 5 in there, and then we wanted to release 6 models so that you could have it be even amounts for like game supplements, whatever. So you never know. There may be another one down the road. You just never know.
You never know. You'll have to wait and see. All right, so Hyrogen the Bone King turned out really cool. I think this model is fantastic.
And if you flip to the next slide, it'll show actually the illustration for him, and then also the cover card for the model there.
All right, and I believe that we are just 10 minutes away from the kickoff of the Roll to Move sale starting. So all this stuff will be in. All this stuff and more deals.
Someone here
in the web
says,
store.
"Good job, Daniel. Excellent sculpt, Daniel. Look at that. You got a call out from a random stranger there. Someone, Frederick something. I can't read it from here." Meredith Kiesler says, "Eat flesh to get to the bones."
And then wear the bones.
Yeah, I guess so. Andrea Florio says, "Now it's time to release a big boxed Blasted Wastes expansion." I think that is the Blasted Wastes expansion. The box is pretty big and full of stuff. With more tiles, extra Bartertown locations, and new heroes.
An expansion for an expansion for an expansion.
Yep. And Peter says, "Great piece of artwork." That's really cool. All right. So again, 9 minutes remain. So we better
move on.
kick it into high gear. So, we've seen a lot. There's been a lot. There's a few last loose ends. No, like giant surprises, I think, because the next slide is the Darkstone magazine, and we've already shown
issue number 2
earlier, but yes,
the spring edition.
So we have our issue number 2 here, and I will flip through a little bit so you can see that it is indeed real.
It's not just blank pages.
Yeah, it's not just blank pages. We're going to have a whole live stream covering this tomorrow, so we'll go into more details, but one of the things that I think people will notice about this right away is that we increased the number of pages. The first one was 64 pages, and this new one is 68 pages because we wanted to pack a little more stuff into it. We ended up switching and having this printed in the USA, and so it costs a little more to have it printed in the USA. The first issue was $14.99. The new issue is $16.99. Still a very good value, and it includes 6 exclusive game cards. Jason, you have the game cards there, don't you?
I do have some game cards, and the game cards usually we will have specifically themed for the different articles in the magazine, as people that got the first issue probably will know. So this one has an artifact, which is themed for the original short story in this magazine.
Oh, I'm just getting to it. Just a sec here.
It could be anything.
Here's the short story. Yes, and it's this. Nope, this Marshall, his badge.
All
yes,
right.
This is Last Train to Redemption, Part 1. Jason's new short story, and it's pretty awesome.
It's train themed.
Yes. Yes.
As you would
Western
guess,
Express
as you would
theme,
guess
yes.
from the Last Train.
That's right. But there's also, Jason has a really cool article on here in his connections section that is all about aliens across the stars. And it connects the dots between a bunch of the different games and the alien races that appear in a bunch of them. So stuff like the Trun first appeared in Conquest of Planet Earth, and then later in Shadows of Brimstone. And there's a number of examples like this.
Yeah. And so a couple of the other cards that come with it are actually Shadows of Brimstone Darkness cards that are themed for different alien races that are in Shadows of Brimstone, but also appeared in Conquest of Planet Earth. And so it just kind of highlights some of those other various aliens from across the world of Flying Frog.
Yes. And then I think there's also one for the Grave Coffins article, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Rolf, our own Rolf, wrote an article talking about the Grave Coffins, which is one of the Darkstone Forge items that we have.
Excuse me.
This. And as part of that, Jason has a little section here where, you should just talk about it. You're right here.
Yeah, so it's basically some new threat cards, low, medium, and high threats that allow you to have vampires with coffins show up just in any adventure along the way. And so the coffins basically have some special bonuses they give to the enemies, and they give you the opportunity to go and try to use a strength test to smash the coffin to see if you can find any loot inside.
Mm-hmm. But besides that, there's new painting articles with Aaron Lovejoy. There's a new feature on the Norse dwarf, and the new rules for journeyman heroes. So
yeah, the design perspectives.
Yeah, we won't go too deep into it yet, but needless to say, I think we topped the first issue, which you always want to do. You never want to go downhill. You want it to get better and better. And so way excited about this. We got these copies early, and the actual shipment of them is actually going to be here in somewhere between a week and a half and 2 weeks. And so we basically put it on the store as a pre-order, but honestly, it's going to ship shortly after, any other shipments would go out. So, but just be aware, if you have this in your order, it may delay your order going out by a few days. If you want to make sure that you get the rest of your order as soon as possible, but you still want this, make separate orders, and then this order will go out as soon as it's in the warehouse, and the rest of your order will go out as soon as we can. but the delay is not by much. I think we put it on as expected to ship out on the 14th, July 14th. But don't be afraid of the pre-order. It's not some far off thing down the line. It is going to be hot on the heels of any other orders. All right, so let's move on. We also have once again for this sale, we're doing the mystery boxes. We did it as kind of a lark a couple sales ago, and people really loved it. And so I think it's the amazing deal of the dinged and dented stuff, because it's basically 50% off, mixed with the mystery of that kind of blind box, and you're not sure what you're going to get. So it's kind of fun. There's usually some great stuff in there, and so I just threw a slide on there to just keep it in people's minds that is part of the sale we're doing. Besides that, I don't have a slide for it, but we are doing the buy two get one free card supplements deal, and we're also going to do the buy three get one free miniatures deal for like CO-cast plastic, thermoplastic,
individual miniatures,
thermoplastic and resin individual miniatures. It's not for like the Darkstone Forge things, like the big set pieces, but for like Constable Ludlow, right, or Hyrogen the Bone King. Those are part of the buy three get one free. So it's a great deal, great time to get them. All right, if we go to the next slide, we have something else people have been asking for, which...
Yeah, and I think that the sale goes live in like 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes, we better hurry.
Yeah.
Another of the Rivals sets, Rivals of Feudal Japan. And so this is something that we put out in the previous Kickstarter, but it basically allows you to use your feudal Japanese heroes as enemies, as an enemy group.
Using the hero miniatures as a very characterful and challenging enemy group that you can fight, where there are other heroes that are out there that are a little more dastardly than you are, most likely, and are basically out for themselves, and so you can fight them. You can encounter these rival heroes and fight them, battle them in various other worlds, or in the mines, or wherever you happen to be. Feudal Japan.
If we go to the next slide, I'm just going to try to get through these before midnight here. We have the Gather the Banners. This is what people were asking for. So it's basically a set of 6 of these guys, because the idea is you would have one with the goodie box that has the printed material and everything, and then you could get the other 6 to have all 7 factions. And these are miniatures only, but it would be 6 more of these miniatures, so that you could actually have one of each of the factions.
Yeah, and we've never done that before. Where we actually have the exclusive Roll to Move exclusive figure separate from the goodie box, right?
No, so I don't think we ever have.
That's a first.
And in fact, because it's a big grouping of them, we also priced it to be a cheaper deal.
All right, so it looks like
is midnight.
Multicron has a question: is the Rivals Feudal Japan new or included in the Kickstarter? It was part of the Shogun pledge.
Yeah, it was part of the Shogun pledge. Wait, no, not the Shogun pledge. The Warlord pledge.
The Warlord pledge.
The Warlord pledge. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It was the Brimstone Adventures.
It was Brimstone Adventures. It was part of the Warlord pledge. Yeah. If you were in that Kickstarter and you had the Warlord pledge, then you already have the Rivals for Feudal Japan.
Yeah. All right. Well, the store sale is live, so anybody that wants to go check stuff out, it's probably a good time to do it.
It's also a good time to let us know if there's anything that you see that's missing. Every once in a while, people will say, wait, where's the buy two, get one free card supplement deal? And we say, oops, and quickly turn it on. So if you notice anything like that, definitely let us know. Meanwhile, I see that we've put up the slide for Dicefest 2025. And so just a reminder to people that tickets are on sale now for Dicefest. You can get your badge for Dicefest 2025. This is not online. This one's actually in person in Bellevue, Washington. It's local to us. It's going to be October 31st through November 2nd. and we're doing a Halloween party the night before on October 30th. And
Thursday night.
The Thursday night, yes. And so it is always an incredible time. We do it at the Hilton in Bellevue. We take over all of their convention space, and it's a solid weekend of wall-to-wall gaming. And for anybody who's been there, you can talk about your experiences. We basically put on a show to try to entertain everybody from the moment they get there to the moment that they leave, and we do everything. We've got all of our giant 3D game boards. We build huge, like giant-size versions of a bunch of our games. We do giant-size versions of like throwback games that we love.
Yeah, like other games that we played decades ago and totally loved, and basically want to have a little celebration of it by doing kind of a special version of it or a giant version of it.
Yeah, the giant Space Hulk is by far my favorite.
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. I don't know, I really like the giant Assault on Hoth.
Giant Assault on Hoth is very good. And it looks so good with all those like AT-ATs and all the little snow speeders flying along. But besides that, we have a full-size Old West saloon with 22 feet of bar top and all the saloon tables and chairs and everything. It's a full-size saloon where we have root beer on tap, and it's a great gathering place in the middle of it, of all the action. We've got painting contests throughout painting classes throughout the show. We've got a Nerf shooting gallery that's all Shadows of Brimstone themed. We have a pub trivia night. We have a concert. We've got contests like the Bits Box Brawl and the speed painting competition. It's a lot of fun. It's a crazy weekend. If any of you guys can come join us, we highly recommend it. Steven Hernandez says craft root beer. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we've got, I don't remember, I think last year it was like 5 different types of root beer on tap, which is crazy. Nick Bentz says the shooting gallery is so much fun. Yeah, I love it. And we try to make it even better each year, add new targets and new bonuses. Last year actually we redid all the sound stuff to change the storyline and have vampires in it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it looks like Hayabusa asks about stuff being stocked in the UK and having trouble getting it over the last few years. Well, I mean, there is some good news. We do have a new distributor that we are working with, distributor and store chain that we're working with in the UK that should help to get more coverage. It's Wayland, I believe, is the name of the store chain.
And so, did they just make their first order?
They did.
For the distributor?
They made an order their first order just recently. So I would expect that you'll probably see it there sometime.
It still has to ship across the ocean.
It still has to ship across the ocean and go through customs and all that kind of stuff. But I would guess you'll probably start seeing them have their stuff available sometime in the next couple months.
Yeah.
That's usually about how long it takes for stuff to travel, kind of by slow boat.
So Meredith Kiesler says, we will come one year, just can't this year. But we'll see you at Gen Con, though. And Steven Hernandez says, if you have to choose between Genkin and Dicefest wins hands down.
Gen Con.
It says Genkin. I did not understand. Gen Con. Gotcha.
It's Gen Con.
It's Genkin. All right.
He's
probably doing text-to-speech or something.
Yeah.
Or speech-to-text, I guess. I don't know. So Boyko says, how does the buy 2 get 3 mini sale work? So first of all, buy 2 get 3 is not it.
Well, he's saying buy 2 get the third. But
I see.
I think it's buy 3 get 1 free.
It was buy 3 get 1 free for the miniature sale. So that works a little differently than the buy 2 get 1 free for the card supplements. The card supplement works where there is a line item in the store where you go to that page and then you do pull downs to choose from pull down menus to choose your 3 card supplements. With the buy 3 get 1 free for the miniatures, you actually put them in the cart and then the cart just takes one of them off, like doesn't charge for one of them at the time of checkout. So I understand it's a little weird that those work like that, but the reason is because they're actually different things. All of the card supplements are kept at the same price point, so it doesn't have to look at comparing prices. But the miniature one, the prices are, a wide variety, and so we have to do it that way instead. Let's see. Boyko Boychev, I don't see the option in the store. Yeah, it may just be, what I just said. There's not really an option per se. It's just, it will take it off at checkout. And if it doesn't, then, we'll take it off manually. Just let us know. But it should by all accounts.
So there are some other questions. You want to pop back up for 1 second? It looks like Vilifair, sorry, it's a little blurry. Is the new Swarm Pack red plastic? Will the old ones always be red plastic? I believe the Swarm Pack 4 is, it does still use the red plastic minis. The red plastic Night Terrors are very similar, almost identical to the new the newer revised gray plastic ones. The Stranglers are also red plastic.
They're a little different.
They're a little different, but they're still
it's kind of
really,
cool because
really
you get
cool
variation
models.
and they look a little different.
Gives you more variations on poses and sizes and stuff, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow, I think people are saying, like Marianne Osborne says, done. I think she already made her order and is back.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are finishing up their orders.
I see, hopefully Gamers HQ get a restock of the Darkstone magazine #1. That was sold out too fast for me. You should let them know that you want it, and then they can order more, because we still have some in stock. So, but it's one of those things, and I always try to tell people this anytime I can. Like, I didn't understand this when I was, just on the other side of things, a gamer, customer. Like, I would go to a game store and say, like, oh, they don't have this thing I'm looking for. That's too bad. And then I would leave. But that doesn't help at all. The point is the game store wants to order the things that you want to buy. So you have to let them know, and then they'll say, oh, people want to buy this thing, Shadows of Brimstone or Darkstone magazine. And then they'll order it from their distributor. Then that distributor orders it from us. And that's how it works. It's in one direction. We can say all we want to distributors, like, order more Darkstone magazines, people will want them. That doesn't really mean much. It's all about, like, what customers want to buy. And so it's like pushing a rope. So anytime you guys can go into your local game store and tell them, I want you to carry Shadows of Brimstone products, or Fortune and Glory, or Touch of Evil, or Last Night on Earth, or things like that. That helps us a lot, because the store doesn't know what people want. They make their best guesses, but if they know that these are popular with their customers, they'll absolutely order the stuff. That's how they make money, selling things that people want to buy. Let's see.
Have they mentioned anything about Fortune and Glory? So we didn't mention anything specifically about Fortune and Glory yet. I mean, we don't really have any news to share with the Fortune and Glory expansions, which is what most people like to ask about. They're still working. They're still being worked on. They're still kind of simmering in the background, trying to get them back onto the schedule and whatnot. But we've been having so many challenges this year with various things like the tariffs and everything, that it's kind of thrown all of the manufacturing and production for a loop. And so it's much harder to predict when, how and when we'll be able to get that manufacturing kind of up and running in a more reliable way again. So that also goes towards, Adam Miller asked a question about, will we get Wave 3 this year? We don't really have any new information on that. I mean, you'll know as soon as we say a better timeline, or a more detailed timeline in an update, which would mean that we would have new information, which we don't right now. So I mean, there's just a lot of struggles with trying to get trying to deal with the tariffs and with the industry right now.
And the uncertainty.
And the uncertainty of everything, exactly.
It makes it difficult. But we really appreciate all of the support and the amazing community that have been built up around our games. And we're very active and always looking at like the Brimstone community group and the different like Flying Frog fans page and all of these different like forums and our own Discord. We just, wanted to thank you guys. That kind of outpouring of support and really positive sense of community, that's not something to be taken lightly. Like you can't just expect that. We've got some really, really great players and really, really great people that are part of this community. So thank you guys.
I agree.
So it looks like Lindsay Derrick says, did I miss release info about the Karbari Headhunters? So those are one of the 3 mission packs that are part of Wave 3 for the Brimstone Adventures Kickstarter.
The
Pledge Manager.
Yeah.
So the reason Jason mentions the Pledge Manager is because sometimes people will say like, I can't believe that Kickstarter is from this year or whatever and still is not delivered. And it's like, well, there is an important distinction because everything from the Kickstarter was delivered. Things introduced in the Pledge Manager are the ones that are still being worked on. But as far as news about it, Jason, I think already touched on that with the Wave 3 talk. But if you're excited about the Kobari Headhunters, I have to say once again, you've got to tune in to Ethan Lowe's Brimstone live stream. It's going to be this Saturday, Saturday 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can see it on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And he's going to be having a preview of those enemies where he's going to be fighting against some Kobari Headhunters. Let's see what else. I'm looking forward to playing some games during Roll to Move. That's awesome. That's what it's about.
When is the Pledge Manager opening for the Cursed Tombs Kickstarter? We haven't set a specific date, but hopefully it'll be sometime within the next few months.
Yep, we're getting closer. We are getting closer. So if you've been thinking about it and wondering if you should jump on the late pledge, might want to do it sooner than later so you don't miss out.
Yeah, the time for that is running
out. Let's see, what else? Those Oathbreaker axemen are genuinely frightening. I can't wait to paint them. Yeah, the models turned out awesome, and they are a lot of fun to paint. Rob Keetlar says, thank you for creating your games. I'm regularly surprised by your creativity. Sometimes so are we. This is a crazy idea. What are we doing? Let's see. Nick Bentz says, thanks so much for doing the live stream. Have a great Roll to Move, Frogs. I hope you get a bunch of sales, and I'm excited for everything, especially the auction. Frogs forever! That's awesome.
All right, and John asks, was there ever a plan for a Touch of Evil fourth boxed expansion called The Lost Colony?
He even knows the name, so I think there probably was ever a plan.
Yeah, we dropped a hint about that in the back of the Coast rulebook, I think. And so I can say that is something that we want to do. It's certainly not something that we would announce until it's closer to actually being a reality. Because otherwise, much like a lot of fans of Fortune and Glory, we don't want people to feel like they've been waiting a long time for something that we officially announced, like the Fortune and Glory expansions. So they're still being worked on, but no news.
Yeah. Adam Miller says, you realize, of course, that now we'll expect an equal number of new products at Dicefest. Don't you mean Genkin?
All right.
No, we've got some exciting stuff planned for Gen Con, so you better get ready. Let's see, what else? Steven Hernandez says, what about sketches? Oh, it went off screen. What about sketches of those people who did the super purchase of the KS? I think you mean wanted backers.
Yeah, I think so.
And yes, that's something that we're going to need to nail down soon. So you should be contacted soon. Let's see. Feel free to delay the pledge manager. What was it? My wallet needs a break. Something along those lines. Scary times for my wallet. Let's see. Just wish you frogs the best in these difficult times. Want your company to survive. You and I to the next generations. Nice. Is there a way to order the Wave 3 items if we were not part of the Adventures Kickstarter? Unfortunately not. That's all closed and locked in. But I don't think there's anything that's in the Wave 3 that won't be released to retail. So, I mean, the Wave 3 is really
Perilous Expeditions.
Perilous Expeditions. 3 missions packs.
And card supplements.
And the art book.
Yeah.
And all of those things will be either available in retail or on our web store. Like card supplements aren't retail. Let's see. Crawling with Dungeons. I'm excited to get to getting some games in this weekend, and I'm jazzed about Dicefest. Your enthusiasm for your work is contagious. It's infectious. Keep up the great work. Let's see. Replying to Brian Bosch, you and me both. Thanks for this live stream. All right. Replying to Brian Bosch, my husband is buying stuff so I can still chat. That's teamwork.
Multitasking.
Stephen Hernandez, 9:15 here. Can we get connection to the web store? Carl Floyd says, Jason has been doing some fiction in the magazine. Any chance of Brimstone novels sometime in the future?
That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
That would be really cool. It's definitely a step further than just a short story, but it is.
It's something we've been talking about for a really long time and would like to do.
Rick Collins asks, when are we getting Scorched Earth for Invasion from Outer Space?
Deep cut.
That is a deep cut. Rick Collins.
Scorched Earth. I would say you never know. I mean, it could be never. It could be right around the corner. Who knows? It's probably
it's not right around the corner. Please don't. Please stop that. Jason.
I have to. I can't help
You know
myself.
those like spray bottles you have for cats?
right.
I need one of those for Jason.
Scorched Earth. Yeah, I mean it would be fun to do, but I mean that's on a way back burner.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Any variants for the trench carrion feeders?
No.
I didn't really show a bunch of the cards for those guys.
The Carrion trench feeders are really specifically Tredaran themed. There are regular threat cards for the low, medium, and high, but they're really meant to be like the small enemy for Tredara.
Meredith Kiesler says, I'm seriously feeling old being up this late. No, you should feel young being up this late. Yeah. My friend Carol says she has a motto when she comes home late at night. She goes, I have a life. Let's see. When will we get a 1-to-1 scale UFO in Shadows of Brimstone?
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
Says Mockler.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Sharon asks, what's best in life? I believe it's to crush your enemies and to see them driven before you and hear the lamentations of the women.
I believe that's correct.
I believe that's correct. I'm a little tired because it's been a very long set of days, but that's what I would suggest is best in life.
Yeah. Adam Miller says, thanks, guys. You had more new content than I ever could have expected, and I love it. That means a lot coming from Adam Miller. Adam, you have an insatiable thirst for more stuff. I'm glad that we were able to actually surprise you. That is saying something. You made my night. This is good. Luke Evans says, is the Roll to Move goodie box going to be at Dicefest? No. Usually we'll have the Roll to Move goodie boxes are exclusive just to Roll to Move. So it's like only during that Roll to Move sale. And then the Dicefest goodie boxes and Dicefest exclusive miniatures are only available during Dicefest. And that's all. Marianne Osborne says, late nights are very much a thing for me. I love painting in the quiet depths of the night. That's very poetic and beautiful, much like your paint jobs. Lindsay Derrick says, you mentioned a 3D prop of the amulet. When can we get one of those? I don't think we ever thought about actually making that a product. It would be very niche.
Yeah, but it would be pretty cool.
It would be pretty cool. I don't know. You just had the idea for the first time. We'll think about it. Tyler Skite says, for the Lamentations.
It's true.
Is the Cursed Tombs Pledge Manager still all good to start in the next 6 weeks-ish? Jason just touched on this.
Yeah, probably more. I mean, it's hard to know exactly when, but it'll be sometime in the next few months. So
we're narrowing in on it.
Yeah.
Let's see. David Hebert Coleman says, thanks for the info about the Carrion trench feeders. Could definitely imagine something in the Forest of the Dead.
Yeah. Also, August says, please, Scorched Earth.
Oh, that's the second vote for Scorched Earth. All right, that's 2. All right. Let's see. Josh Osborne, now she's blushing. All right. Any plans for Conquest of Planet Earth? Oh, we already released that. You can get it right now. It's available on the... There's an expansion as well.
There's also a giant-size version.
Conquest Apocalypse. Yes, the giant-size version.
Yeah, the giant-size version of Conquest of Planet Earth is actually really cool.
It is. The laminations of the women.
Yeah, you got to laminate people.
I think somebody's getting tired. All right. Well, I think that's probably our cue to wind it down.
We should probably call it there. But thank you guys for joining us for this kickoff celebration for Roll to Move. And hopefully we'll see everybody throughout the weekend during the different events and games and live streams.
Yes. Don't forget to enter the painting contest. And you know, we'll see you guys at different events and games over the course of the next 4 days. And if you have questions about, like, how do I connect on my Zoom game, or how do I, whatever. If you have questions, it's probably best to use our Discord. In the Flying Frog Discord, there's a channel set up specifically for Roll to Move 2025, and we're going to be monitoring it through the whole weekend. So that's going to be the place that you're going to get the quickest answers. So that's where I would look. As far as the different live streams that are going on, most of them are going to be simulcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. All the different games and painting classes are going to be through Zoom. But for the most part, the hub of communication is going to be Discord. And we will have regular updates coming. If you have a badge, you'll be getting some emails. And if you're following along, it'll be on all of our social media channels. You guys, thank you once again for joining us. We look forward to a great Roll to Move, and we'll see some of you guys for the wrap-up on Sunday for our Zoom Hangout.
And on the games all throughout the weekend.
Oh, yes.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.